What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And if you guys don't know this, Xbox Game Pass is now available for gold members. And ever since it went live a couple days back, everybody said, Boogie, please take a look at it. Please take a look at it. Maybe there's a Francis video here in store. Here's the thing. It's not really a Francis situation for me. I really like the idea of Game Pass. I like the idea. Now, we'll get into the critiques in a little while. I like Game Pass, and it's kind of like Xbox's answer to the PlayStation 4's Pro, or was PlayStation Now is what it's called, or something like that, where you can basically connect and stream games from their massive library. This is better in a lot of ways because you download the entire game and then leave it on your hard drive, and as long as you're subscribed, you can still play the game, unless I think maybe they remove the license or something along that lines. So in a lot of ways, this is better. You don't have to worry about streaming and connectivity issues and stuff like that. It's still a data issue because you have to download the entire game and install it on your Xbox. So if it's a 4 or 5 gig game and you don't like it and you only play it for a little while, you spend a lot more bandwidth than you would have streaming it. But either way, I think it's a really good solution. I think it is probably better than the streaming service that PlayStation has put into place. So I like the idea of it. The problem is it might be a problem with the execution. It's going to involve the cost. It's going to involve the library, things along that line. So let's take a critical look at that stuff. And maybe if it really sucks, maybe we'll do a Francis video as a companion piece to this. But honestly, I like this idea. I think it's very pro-consumer, and I'm really glad Xbox One is doing it. All right, well, first off, some people have been telling me they have trouble even finding it on the dashboard. If you are already a gold member, apparently you just go to your gold account and get there however you want to. And then once you're there, you can go to here, featured. And I'm sure there's just an Xbox Game Pass app you can search for as well. But there you go. Boom, into the app. Members get early access to Xbox Game Pass. Over 100 great games with new titles added monthly. Gold makes it even better because you can play online. Terms and conditions. Does it say how much it's going to cost? And we'll find that out by the end of the video. But then start your 14-day free trial, and then let's see what the catalog is like. Okay, so here's the featured games. We got Halo 5, XCOM, NBA 2016, Payday 2, Bioshock Infinite, Saints Row, Mega Man Legacy Collection, Sega Vintage Collection. But look, there's actually prices here for the game. So I thought I was getting these games to play for free. Let's click on a game. Okay, all right, so you can buy to own it if you want to own it and you don't want to subscribe to Game Pass. But you can also just install it and play it as long as you have your Game Pass membership. Okay, so I guess Game Pass also gives you a discount on some of these games. But if you can play them infinitely, I don't really understand why you would ever purchase them. Of course, some of these games that are on Game Pass I already own. I actually own about a quarter of them. All right, hitting back button here, and let's see if we can get to the catalog again. Come on, Xbox. All right, so featured, here's all games. So let's take a look. Because again, I really feel like this is dependent on the execution, dependent on the library. A Kingdom of Hellflings. So let's get through these quickly. Defense Grid 2, that's pretty good. Gears of War 3, very nice there. Farming Simulator, you know that'll be popular in Germany, where that game is. Very popular. You got the Bioshock games, 1, 2, and 3, it looks like. The Banjo-Kazooie games, 1, 2, and 3. Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts, and there's Banjo-Tooie. Bionic Commando, Rearmed. That's a game I never played, but always wanted to, so that's one I'll take advantage of here. If you never played the Bioshock series, now's your opportunity. There's Blood Bowl, which unfortunately I just bought for $30 when it was on sale. So I kind of wish I'd realized it was going to be on Game Pass. Borderlands 1, but I don't see Borderlands 2, which is the better of the games. Bound by Flame, another one of those Dark Souls types games nobody ever played, or not everybody played. Capcom Arcade Cabinet, that's kind of nice. Getting to play these little arcade classics without having to pay for them is really nice to me. Castle Storm, there's D4, that's fairly popular. The first Defense Grid. There's Devil May Cry, the one that nobody really seemed to like, but I really enjoyed. Double Dragon Neon. I'll probably give that a download. Dungeons & Dragons. Oh, this is Game of Mysteria. Is this Chronicles of Mysteria? That's it. I loved this in the arcades. I did not know there was even a port of this. Those games are so fun. I wish they were all on here. There's Fable 3, Final Fight, Double Impact. I never heard of that. Galaga Legions. Oh, it's Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. Oh, Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And of course, Gears of War Judgment, I guess. Grid 2, that's a fairly decent game. Halo Spartan Assault, that was all right. The Joe Danger games. Layers of Fear, that was okay. Mega Coin Squad. This is a game not enough people played. It's made by Adult Swim, and they do such good work. Some of their games are so good, and that was one I really enjoyed. Mad Max. Wow, that was a game nobody played except me, and I loved every second of that game. Incredible. So that's a nice little egg for people here getting this. Miss Explosion Man. I'm sure Explosion Man's got to be on here too. N Plus, Pac-Man DX Championship Edition. I think there. Pac-Man Museum. I actually bought that when it became backwards compatible. Sacred 3, Saints Row 4. Saints Row 4, such a good game. There's some good games in here. I'm not gonna lie. Soul Calibur 1 and 2, 2 HD. I guess there's Explosion Man. Spelunky. That's nice. Strider. So there's a lot of games on here that I'll actually play. Super Time Force. That was an okay little thing. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 to get you ready for the next Tekken game coming out soon. XCOM, Viva Pinata. A lot of the Rareware games that are on here too. Virtua Fighter 5. Oh, are we at the bottom? Are we at the bottom? Is that it? Is that 100-some games? Is that it? Well, I don't know. There's quite a few games on here worth picking up, actually. Worth playing. All right, well, I think for a 14-day free trial, I think it'd be stupid to not get in there and play some free games. That makes a lot of sense. If you have an Xbox One, get in there. It looks like it's $9.99 a month moving forward, which, to be honest, if you only play a couple of games a month, that's better than buying them digitally. Now, I guess if you buy the disc, you can buy and sell the disc. So buying it on the disc is still preferable. So you have the resale value, but honestly, $9.99 to get access to all of those games, some of those games still selling for 30 or 40 bucks, kind of seems like a no-brainer. I don't think there's much of a downside here. If we're taking a critical look here, I think we could probably see game library is not that great, but the service did just launch, so I imagine it's going to have to prove itself before a lot of people sign up. They don't want to spend too much getting games for the service unless they know they're going to make money. I think with $9.99 a month, it's going to make money, but the library there is not that great. It's got quite a few blockbuster games that I think a lot of people love, like Halo and Gears of War, stuff like that I think are really going to get people interested. Then there's the smaller and mid-tier games, and I personally would prefer there to be a ton of the smaller and mid-tier games that I would never otherwise play or purchase or even consider playing unless I'm playing them for free. So the more of the smaller and mid-tier games they give, the better. And I know that you guys probably are looking for the bigger, higher-end games. I end up buying all of the bigger, higher-end games. So getting access to all these little $9, $15, $20 games I would have otherwise completely ignored, I think that's the value for me, but your value may vary. Now, one thing to note here is whether or not DLC is included, and I'm sure that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. And another way that these companies can make money by putting their games on this list is not just sharing that $9.99, but obviously if you play something like Halo 5, you might be tempted to buy some of the microtransactions built into Halo 5, which is purely cosmetic, but still. You may choose to participate in the microtransactions, and if you do, they'll make money off the back of that. So not only are they bringing in the $9.99, they might be selling you the DLC in some cases, and they'll definitely be selling you microtransactions. So keep that in mind. A lot of these games that will show up on the service, they'll try to treat it as free to play. The game is now free for you, or it's $9.99 a month. But then they're going to try to hype up the microtransactions and DLC most likely. But honestly, that's no different than paying $60 for the game and then still having them hit you with that stuff. So this is probably still the better way. So the question I always like to ask myself when I'm reviewing a service or something like this is, who is this service for? Is it for the rich Xbox user? The guy who $9.99 is not a lot of money. Will he subscribe to the service? Most likely, though, he'll most likely purchase just the games he wants and ignore services like this, right? For someone with a middle level of income, he's probably going to be very excited about the service because he can afford the $9.99, and he will most likely get access to a bunch of games he would have never otherwise been able to afford. And I think for the discount gamer, for the guy who buys his Xbox used off Craigslist for the least money that he can possibly spend and considers Xbox Gold to be far too expensive as it is, maybe that's not a good service. But if you look at it, it's $120 a year to get access to over 100 games. That's a lot better than just buying 2 high-end games or 1 high-end game with a DLC, especially knowing that those high-end games will eventually end up on this service. So I think if you bought an Xbox exclusively for Game Pass, that's probably pretty good for someone with a lower income who's a budget gamer. I think that might be who the target audience is. I hope that's the target audience. I hope those are the people that will take advantage of this. $120 a year is expensive, especially compared, added on top of gold so that you can play multiplayer on these games. It's $240 a year, but video gaming is an expensive hobby, and $250 really only buys a handful of games anyway. These days, that buys 3 if you don't buy any of the DLC. I think this is a really good option for budget gamers. Not only that, but I think this appeals to both PC gamers and PlayStation gamers alike. Obviously, you've played all the PlayStation exclusives and all the PC exclusives. There are a ton of exclusives on here. So if you want to pick up a budget Xbox and play these games, all of those exclusives you've missed, it's a very inexpensive way to do that, especially if your primary focus is on your PlayStation or your PC. This is a cheap alternative, especially with Xbox is selling for as cheap as $250 or $200 used. I don't know. I kind of feel like Xbox knocked it out of the park here. It feels weird to praise Xbox, but I've been doing it a lot lately. So Larry and the team over there, good job. This is a good job. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to take a break from Injustice 2 for a little while to go play a little bit of Tekken Tag 2 in preparation for Tekken to come out. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about Xbox Game Pass? Is this a service you're interested in? Are you not interested in it? Do you hate Xbox? Do you love Xbox? Tell me what your experience is with Xbox. Do you have one for this generation? Is Game Pass enough of a reason for you to pick one up? What do you think about the job Xbox has been doing lately? I gotta say, stuff like this, man, really gets you scratching your head because everybody loves to hate that company, but sometimes they just get it so right. Guys, thanks for watching. I love you very much. I'll speak with you again soon.